How the Spy Watched the Cat. Once upon a time there lived a spy named Albert. One day the city butcher invited him over. "Albert," said the butcher, "I've discovered that someone has been stealing sausages from my counter. I suspect it's the florist's cat from the neighboring shop. I want to hire you to track her down."
"To track the florist down?"
Albert clarified. "What florist?" The butcher was puzzled. "What do I care about her? I mean the cat."
"In the spy school they taught us to watch particularly important government officials, military personnel, as well as husbands of wives and wives of husbands. But they didn't teach us to track cats. This is an unusual task, so the payment will be double. 6 golden guilders."
"What if I pay you the standard 2 guilders and add on a chunk of thick sausage?" the butcher proposed.
"Sounds acceptable,"
Albert agreed after some thought. The task seemed simple at first, but soon Albert realized it was the cleverest cat in the world. It knew how to hide, climb roofs, and sneak into the most incredible places. Albert understood that the task wouldn't be easy, but he didn't give up. Every day he followed the cat and recorded all its movements in his notebook. Additionally, he often saw the florist herself. She was a very lovely and modest girl in a fashionable dress. Albert noticed that when the cat was near her, he devoted much more time and attention to observing the florist than her pet. The spy noted this peculiar behavior in his notebook as well. One day, Albert noticed that the florist cat was indeed stealing sausages from the butcher's counter. Now he was obliged to inform the butcher to protect his business. However, Albert decided to visit the florist one last time before doing so. He observed her and her cat once more. He saw how the girl cared for her cat and realized that if the butcher took it away and sent it to a shelter, it would be a great loss for her. Albert faced a dilemma. As a professional, he should report the cat to the butcher. After all, he even demanded double payment for the job, although he should have received sausage instead. On the other hand, he didn't want to upset the florist, whom he had unwittingly fallen in love with, as indicated by his lyrical poems written in the notebook during surveillance. After agonizing over it, Albert decided not to turn the cat over to the butcher and leave the pet with the florist. But in doing so, he risked losing his job. Therefore, he decided to carry out one last mission. First, he went to the florist and said,
"Madame, I was hired to watch your cat. It's suspected of stealing sausages from the butcher. I found out that these suspicions are not unfounded. Your pet does occasionally take meat from his shop. But I don't want to report this to the butcher because I see how attached you are to your cat. Can you somehow convince your furry creature not to do it anymore? Then I won't tell the butcher who the culprit is."
"Oh," the florist exclaimed, "but how do I convince Monkey not to do it? Monkey is my cat's name, by the way."
"Yes, I know,"
Albert noted, checking his notebook. "Maybe they teach you animal language in spy schools, and you can talk to Monkey and convince her not to steal anymore." Albert pondered.
"In spy schools we were taught English, German, and Chinese. Does your cat speak any of these languages?"
"I don't think so," shrugged the florist. "Is there really nothing we can do?"
"I think I can solve this problem with some clever spy method,"
Albert promised and laughed. The spy went to the butcher and told him that it wasn't the cat stealing sausages, but mutant sparrows nesting in a secret radioactive dump outside the city. He advised the butcher to use a special bulletproof anti-vandal display case to store and showcase his sausages. Neither the powerful beaks of a mutant sparrows nor even 45 caliber bullets could penetrate such a protection. In theory, the cat couldn't overcome such a barrier either, which was what Albert was counting on. The butcher was a bit disappointed that he would have to invest in additional security for his business. Dealing with the cat would have been much cheaper. But Albert convinced the butcher that protecting the sausages from not only cats but any kind of threats was a wise investment. In the evening, Albert went to the florist and told her that the issue was resolved. Overjoyed, the girl treated him to tea, and then, until late at night, Albert read her poems from his notebook. Whether they got married later or not, that's a secret spy story. Try to guess for yourself.